can't pretend this hasn't been happening to Labor too, is that they've been happy to survive off Greens' preferences, but as they did in the seats of Griffith and lots of other places, they were able to actually end up winning seats. At a point in time, the Greens will eat Labor's own here. So how do the parties of power end up appealing to parts of the electorate that think either they're too piss weak or they're too all over the shop? Because the reality is that I think your biggest challenge in 3 years, as obvious would be with the first-term government, is you're going to end up under the threat of Teals like the Liberals were last time, or under the threat of Greens who were able to eat. Don't forget, not the far right of the Labor Party in the seat of Griffith. They were able to take out the shadow environment spokesperson.
It is clear, though, isn't it, that the Teals are presenting at the moment an existential crisis for the Liberal Party. And what we've got now is panels, such as we saw over the weekend at this conference, begging deep Conservatives to come back to the Liberal Party, talking about how at the same time they don't believe in climate science. But if all those people come back into the Liberal Party, of course, they'll never be able to be that party of government that can attract back the voters who bled to the Teals. Corey Bernardi and I sat on this panel, the night after the federal election, talking about this same issue. Well, it is mathematically, electorally the case that if the Liberal Party is going to somehow make the case that they are a party of government, they need to talk about believing climate science.
If the populist right had stuck with the Liberal Party, they would have won most of those Teal seats. If the Liberal Party, as Corey articulates, gets back to its core values and has a point of difference and grows a spine, it'll win back those Teal seats easily. The problem at the moment is lost those seats by trying to appease those people. If you stand for nothing, you'll end up with nobody voting for you. So as I pointed out on my program at 5 o'clock, if you just add up the three minor parties, say in the seat of Wentworth, there was 4.5% of primary votes the Liberals bled across to the right, and Dave Sharma lost that seat by 4%. So the maths are pretty straightforward.
Well, that's why I kept talking about all the way through the election preference discipline. It worked in 19, didn't work in 2020. So, look, again, I don't enjoy this conversation because it's what the left want the conversation to be. They want the centre-right to be all tearing itself apart, setting purity tests for what is and isn't a Conservative and all the rest of it in the next little while. The Voice is going to be a perfect example of those sorts of things. But wait, watch and see. Again, don't give them what they want, which is tearing themselves apart. And certainly the idea of booing Nick Minchin, fair dinkum, as if he's some sort of crazy, secret lefty. Please, read up on your history. Thank you, guys. Do appreciate it.